What happens when a Hollywood icon, known for her bold reinvention and unapologetic authenticity, steps into the ring with a late-night host famous for his cutting wit and skeptical jab? Pamela Anderson thought she was appearing on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert to promote her latest role in the Naked Gun reboot, a comedic turn that had fans buzzing. But what erupted was a scorching clash over authenticity, feminism, and the power of personal transformation that left the audience stunned and social media in a frenzy. This wasn't just a promotional spot gone wrong. It was a fiery showdown that exposed raw tensions and turned a routine interview into a cultural flashpoint. Subscribe and drop a comment below, because this battle builds to a climax that will keep you glued to every word, and you won't believe how it unfolds. Pamela Anderson walked onto the Late Show set, greeted by roaring applause, ready to discuss her role in Naked Gun and her journey from modeling to acting. But Stephen Colbert quickly pivoted to a heated debate about her public image, feminism, and the relevance of her past in today's world. Stephen Colbert kicked off, "Welcome back to The Late Show. Folks, we've got Pamela Anderson, star of the Naked Gun reboot, bringing her iconic energy to comedy. But Pamela, let's get real. Isn't this role just a way to cash in on your Baywatch fame from the 90s? Pamela responded, "Thanks for having me, Stephen. I'm not cashing in, I'm reinventing. Naked Gun is about showing a new side of me, one that's funny and fearless, not just nostalgic." Colbert pressed, "Fearless, sure, but come on. Your career's built on being a sex symbol, right? Isn't this just more of the same, playing to the male gaze?" Pamela countered, "That's a lazy take, Stephen. My career's about owning my choices, from modeling to acting. It's about authenticity, not just what you think people see. Have you even watched the movie?" The audience laughed, but Colbert leaned in. "I've seen enough to know it's leaning hard on your image, and I wonder, is that empowerment or just repackaging the past for a new crowd?" Pamela's voice stayed steady. "Empowerment has taken control of your narrative. Stephen, I've done that my whole career, from Playboy to producing my own projects. Why does that seem to bother you?" Colbert smirked. "Bother me? No way, but let's be honest. Your brand's always been about glamour, not exactly feminist manifestos, right? Are you really challenging anything?" Pamela fired back, "Challenging? I've been challenging stereotypes since I started. I've never played by anyone's rules. My work in Naked Gun is about humor and heart, not just looks. Why reduce it to that?" The audience murmured, sensing the shift, as Colbert pushed back, "Humor's great, but isn't it convenient to call it empowerment now, when half the world sees you as a pinup, not a trailblazer?" Pamela responded, "The world can see what it wants. Stephen, I know who I am. I've fought for my voice in an industry that tried to silence me. What's wrong with using comedy to show that?" Colbert's tone sharpened. "Nothing's wrong, but let's talk about this reinvention. You're leaning into this wholesome, empowered image, but isn't that just a rebrand to stay relevant in a woke world?" Pamela's voice grew firmer. "Rebrand, no, it's evolution, Stephen. I've spent years advocating for causes I believe in, from animal rights to women's freedom. My role in Naked Gun is just another step. Why does authenticity scare you?" Colbert scoffed, "Scare me? Hardly. But your fans aren't exactly watching for deep messages. They're there for the nostalgia, aren't they? Or are you saying you're the new face of feminism?" Pamela countered, "I'm not claiming to be anything. I'm just being me. My career's about breaking molds, not fitting into them. Why do you keep trying to box me in?" The audience gasped, the tension rising, as Colbert shot back, "Box you in? I'm just asking questions. Pamela, isn't that what hosts do, or do you only want applause?" Pamela leaned forward. "Hosts ask questions to get to the truth, Stephen, not to twist someone's life into a punchline. I came here to talk about my work, not to be mocked for who you think I am." Stephen Colbert fired back, "Truth, Pamela, that's rich. You're selling empowerment, but isn't your whole career just playing to what men want, from Playboy to Naked Gun?" Pamela Anderson shot back, "That's your lens, Stephen, not mine. I've owned every choice, from modeling to acting. I'm not here to fit your narrative. Why can't you handle a woman defining herself? Colbert smirked. Define yourself, sure, but let's be real. You're banking on your image. Not some feminist crusade, right? Or are you saying Naked Gun is changing the world? Pamela responded, It's changing perceptions, Stephen. It's me showing I can be funny, real, and unapologetic, not just a poster. Why does that threaten your idea of who I am? Colbert leaned in. Threaten, no way. But your fans aren't watching for empowerment. They're here for the Baywatch bounce, aren't they? Or are you rewriting history now? Pamela's voice sharpened. Rewriting history? No, I'm reclaiming it. I've fought for my place in an industry that tried to reduce me to a stereotype. Naked Gun is proof I'm more than that. Why do you keep dragging it back to the 90s? Colbert scoffed. Because that's your brand, Pamela. You can't just slap feminist on it and call it progress. Isn't this just a PR stunt to stay relevant? Pamela fired back. A stunt, Stephen. I've been relevant for decades by being authentic. I've never played by your rules. Why does my confidence make you so uneasy? The audience clapped, but Colbert pushed harder. Confidence is great, but let's talk about authenticity. Your animal rights stuff, your activism, isn't that just a way to clean up your image? Make people forget the pin-up days? Pamela countered. Forget. No, I embrace my past. It's part of who I am. My activism comes from my heart, not a script. Unlike some hosts who mock what they don't understand, why not ask about my work instead of judging it? Colbert's tone turned biting. I'm asking, Pamela, but your work's always been about selling an image, right? From Playboy spreads to comedy cameos. How's that not just playing the game? Pamela's voice rose. Playing the game, Stephen. I broke the game. I took control when everyone wanted to control me. Naked Gun is me laughing at the stereotypes you're still stuck on. Why can't you see that? Colbert shot back. See it. I see a rebrand. You're calling it empowerment. But isn't it just the same old glamour with a new tagline? Pamela leaned forward. Glamour's part of me, not all of me. I've spent years fighting for women's voices, for animals, for truth. You reduce it to a tagline because it's easier than admitting I've grown. Why does my evolution scare you? Colbert laughed. Scare, hardly. But let's not pretend you're out here solving world problems. You're an actress, not a philosopher, right? Or are you the new Gloria Steinem? Pamela responded. I'm not claiming to be anything, Stephen. I'm just Pamela, living my truth. Making people laugh, making them think. Why do you need to tear that down to feel clever? The audience cheered, but Colbert pressed on. Tear down. I'm just asking questions. Pamela, isn't that what hosts do, or do you only want praise for your truth? Pamela's voice cut through. Questions are fine, Stephen, but yours are attacks. You invited me to talk Naked Gun, but you're obsessed with my past. Why not deal with who I am now? Colbert smirked. Who you are now, a comedy star, sure, but isn't it convenient to pivot to authenticity when the world's moved on from your Baywatch days? Pamela fired back. Moved on, Stephen. I'm the one moving forward. I've never been stuck. I'm in Naked Gun because I choose to be, not because I need to be. Why can't you respect that? Colbert's voice turned cold. Respect, Pamela. I respect truth. But your truth seems like a polished story to keep the spotlight. Isn't that the real game here? Pamela stood up. The real game, Stephen, is you turning my life into a punchline. Because you can't handle a woman who's unapologetic. I came here to talk about my work, not to be your punching bag. Why don't you try being honest for once? Pamela Anderson's voice echoed through the late show set, her challenge to Stephen Colbert hanging in the air like a lightning bolt, daring him to confront his own tactics. The audience held their breath, the energy crackling as the clash reached its zenith, with Pamela refusing to back down and Colbert scrambling to regain control. This wasn't just a talk show segment anymore. It was a raw, unfiltered battle over authenticity, feminism, and the power of owning one's narrative. And the outcome would redefine how the world saw both of them. Subscribe and comment below, because this finale delivers a knockout that will leave you cheering. Pamela stood firm, her words sharp, demanding honesty, while Colbert's smirk faltered, his next move poised to either escalate the fight or crumble under the weight of her defiance. Colbert fired back. "Honest, Pamela, I'm the one asking real questions, but you're dodging. Isn't your whole authentic shtick just a way to gloss over a career built on objectification?" Pamela shot back. "Dodging, Stephen. I'm standing right here, owning every choice I've made. From Playboy to Naked Gun, I've never hidden who I am. Why can't you deal with a woman who's unapologetic?" Colbert scoffed. "Unapologetic, sure, but let's talk about that, your Naked Gun role. Isn't it just you leaning into the same old sexy blonde stereotype, repackaged as comedy?" Pamela countered. "It's comedy with heart, Stephen. I'm playing a character who's smart, funny, and in control, not just a stereotype. Why do you keep trying to reduce me to one?" The audience roared with applause, but Colbert pressed on. "Reduce you? I'm just pointing out the obvious. Your fans love the glamour, not some feminist lecture, right?" Pamela's voice cut through. "My fans love me for being real. Stephen, I've never lectured anyone. I've lived my truth, from modeling to activism to Naked Gun. Why does that make you so uncomfortable?" Colbert leaned in. "Uncomfortable? No way, but let's be real. Your activism, animal rights, all that, isn't it just a way to make people forget the Baywatch babe image?" Pamela fired back. "Forget? No, I embrace it. I've used my platform to fight for what I believe in, unlike some hosts who use theirs to mock others. Why not try uplifting instead of tearing down?" Colbert's tone turned icy. "Tearing down, Pamela? I'm just asking what everyone's thinking. Isn't your whole reinvention just a PR move to stay in the game?" Pamela stood taller. "A PR move, Stephen. I've been in the game longer than you've been hosting. I've faced every critic, every stereotype, and I'm still here. Why can't you respect that?" Colbert smirked. "Respect? I respect facts, but your story feels like a polished script. You're not changing the world, you're just selling a new version of Pamela Anderson, right?" Pamela's voice rose. "Selling? No, I'm living. I'm showing women they can be whoever they want. Sexy, funny, fierce, all at once. Why does that scare you so much?" The audience cheered loudly, but Colbert pushed harder. "Scare me? Hardly. But let's talk about this fierce image. Isn't it just you playing to the woke crowd? Cashing in on feminism?" Pamela countered. "Cashing in, Stephen. I've been fighting for women's freedom since before woke was a word. I've never needed a crowd to validate me. Why do you keep twisting my life into your narrative?" Colbert shot back. "Twisting? I'm just calling it like I see it. Your Naked Gun role, your activism, it's all a rebrand to stay relevant, isn't it?" Pamela's voice turned fierce. "Relevant, Stephen. I'm relevant because I'm real. I've never pretended to be anything I'm not. Unlike some hosts who hide behind jokes to avoid real talk. Why not try it for once?" Colbert laughed. "Real talk, Pamela. That's what I'm doing. But you're acting like you're above criticism. Isn't that a bit hypocritical?" Pamela stepped forward. "Hypocritical? No, I'm open to criticism. But you're not criticizing. You're mocking. You invited me to talk about my work, but you're obsessed with my past. Why can't you face the woman I am now?" Colbert's voice hardened. "The woman you are now, a comedy star, sure. But isn't it convenient to call it empowerment when your career's built on being a fantasy?" Pamela fired back. "Fantasy, Stephen. I've turned fantasy into reality. I've taken every label thrown at me and made it my own. Naked Gun is me laughing at your stereotypes. Why does that bother you?" Colbert scoffed. "Bother me? No. But let's not pretend you're rewriting the rule book. You're just playing the same game with a new script, right?" Pamela's voice rang out. "The same game, Stephen. I broke the game. I've been breaking it since I started. I've fought for my voice, my choices, my truth. Why do you need to tear that down to feel smart?" Colbert shot back. "Tear down? I'm just asking questions, Pamela. Or do you only want softballs to keep your image shiny?" Pamela stood her ground. "Softballs? No, I can handle tough questions. But yours are cheap shots. You're not interested in truth. You're interested in headlines. Why not admit it? The audience erupted in applause, but Colbert pushed on. Headlines, Pamela. You're the one chasing them, coming here with your empowered story. Isn't that the real act? Pamela's voice turned cold. The real act, Stephen. Is you pretending this is journalism? You invited me here to promote Naked Gun, but you've turned it into a circus. Why don't you try being honest with your audience? Colbert laughed. Honest, I'm giving them what they want, a real conversation. But you're acting like a martyr. Isn't that a bit much? Pamela countered. A martyr, no. I'm just a woman who's done with being your punchline. I came here to talk about my work, not to be mocked for who I am. Why can't you respect that? Colbert's tone turned sharp. Respect, Pamela. I respect truth. But your truth feels like a polished story. You're not changing the world. You're just staying in the spotlight, right? Pamela stepped closer. Staying in the spotlight, Stephen. I've earned my place in it. I've faced every critic, every stereotype, and I'm still standing. Why does that make you so desperate to cut me down? Colbert shot back. Cut you down? I'm just asking what everyone's thinking. Isn't your whole authentic thing just a way to keep the cameras on you? Pamela's voice boomed. Keep the cameras on me, Stephen. I don't need cameras to know who I am. I've fought for my voice, my truth, my freedom. Why can't you handle a woman who doesn't need your approval? The audience roared, but Colbert pressed on. Approval, Pamela. I'm not here to approve or disapprove. I'm here to ask questions. Or do you only want applause? Pamela's voice cut through. Applause, no. I want respect, Stephen. You invited me here, but you've spent this whole time mocking my life, my work, my choices. Why not try listening for once? Colbert smirked. Listening, I'm listening, but your story's hard to buy. You're calling it empowerment, but isn't it just a rebrand to stay relevant? Pamela fired back. Relevant, Stephen. I'm relevant because I'm real. I've never hidden who I am. Naked Gun is me showing the world I can be anything. Why does that scare you so much? Colbert's voice turned cold. Scare me, Pamela, please, but let's be real. You're not breaking barriers. You're just playing the game, right? Pamela stood firm. Playing the game, no. I've rewritten the rules. I've taken every label, every insult, and turned it into strength. You can't handle that, so you mock it. Why not admit you're out of your depth? Colbert shot back. Out of my depth, Pamela. I'm just calling it like I see it. You're an actress, not a revolutionary. Isn't that the truth? Pamela's voice rang out. The truth, Stephen, is I've been a revolutionary my whole career. I've fought for my place, my voice, my truth, and I'm done letting you twist it into a joke. I'm walking away. She turned to the audience. You deserve better than this. You deserve conversations that lift you up, not tear people down. I'm leaving because I respect myself too much to be his punchline. Pamela walked off the set, the audience exploding in applause, chanting her name as Colbert sat stunned, his smirk gone, his attempt to recover with a weak joke falling flat. Producers scrambled to cut to commercial, but the damage was done. Social media lit up with clips of the clash. Hashtags like #Pamela owns Colbert trending as fans praised her for standing up to mockery with unyielding grace. News outlets ran headlines. Pamela Anderson shuts down Stephen Colbert in epic showdown, with analysts noting how she'd exposed his tactics, turning his cynicism into her triumph. Pamela's exit wasn't just a walk-off. It was a masterclass in authenticity, proving that owning your truth is stronger than any late-night jab. Colbert's team issued a vague apology, but it couldn't undo the moment Pamela made him face his own shallowness. Years later, this clash remains a testament to her strength, a reminder that authenticity always outshines mockery. And Pamela walked away not just as a star, but as a beacon of unapologetic power.
Thank you for watching our channel Modern Stories. If you liked our video, you should subscribe for more amazing videos like this. Have a healthy and happy day. See you in the next one.